Will you be able to see what this thing is like?
Oh, yeah. Regina, Prabhu say, like, real love cat.
Yeah. Here's big whoppers is little eggs.
Oh, they're like dinner plates.
I think whoppers are big.
There is a name for rompers, the Sanskrit name, I forget.
We're not whoppers.
Jugga,
Juggers.
something.
Juggers, yeah.
Didn't catch on around.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jana Vallabha Veera Varadhari Yashoda Nandana Rajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Veera Varadhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Jamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivradikata Vishtauta Vishata Sri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada
Yeah.
Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 O my Lord, Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, of all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by Srila Prabhupada, Canto 4, Chapter 28. Today's text is number 40. Syava pakatayat Savya Pakatayatmanam Savya Pakatayatmanam. If you think that was a tongue twister, listen to this line. Vitirik Katayatmani Yatarik Katayatmani
Yatayatmani
Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha
Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha
Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha
Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha
Sakshinang Viramaha
Sakshinam Viramaha
Sakshinang Viramaha
Sakshinam Viramaha
Savyapakatayatmanam
Savyapatayatmanam
Yatarik Tatayatmani
Yatayatmani
Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha
Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha
Sakshinang Viramaha
Sakshinam Viramaha
Savyapakatayatmanam
Savyapatayatmanam
Yatarik Tatayatmani
Yatayatmani
Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha
Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha
Sakshinang Viramaha
Sakshinam Viramaha
Mulu.
Savyapakayatayatmanam Yatirikatatayatmani Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha Sakshinam Virama Sakshinam Virama Sakshinam Virama
Manam Yadiri Tatayatmani Vidvan Swapna Ivamarsha Sakshinam Viramaha
Any more brave souls?
Tanayamana Yatirik Tanayamani Ilman Swapana Ilmanaryasa Saksinam Viranamana
Any more? Oh, okay. Jamuna, want to try? You just walked in. Okay. All right, word for word. Saha King Malayadvaja. Vyapakataya. By all pervasiveness. Atmanam. The super soul. This is really Vyatarik Tataya. Vyatarik Tataya. By differentiation. Atmani. In his own self. Vidvan. Perfectly educated. Svapne. In a dream. Iva. Like. Amarsha. Of deliberation. Sakshinam. The witness. Virarama. Became indifferent. Certainly. Translation. King Malayadvaja attained perfect knowledge by being able to distinguish the super soul from the individual soul. What is that?
The recycle continuum.
Oh, Okay. Again, King Malayadvaja attained perfect knowledge by being able to distinguish the super soul from the individual soul. The individual soul is localized, whereas the super soul is all pervasive. He became perfect in knowledge that the material body is not the soul, but that the soul is the witness of the material body. Please repeat. King Malayadvaja attained perfect knowledge by being able to distinguish the super soul from the individual soul. The individual soul is localized, whereas the super soul is all pervasive. He became perfect in knowledge that the material body is not the soul, but that the soul is the witness of the material body. Srila Prabhupada's purport: the conditioned soul is often frustrated in trying to understand the distinctions between the material body, the super soul, and the individual soul. There are two types of Mayavadi philosophers: the followers of the Buddhist philosophy and the followers of the Shankara philosophy. The followers of Buddha do not recognize that there is anything beyond the body. The followers of Shankara conclude that there is no separate existence of the Paramatma, the super soul. The Shankarites believe that the individual soul is identical with the Paramatma in the ultimate analysis. But the Vaishnava philosopher, who is perfect in knowledge, knows that the body is made of the external energy, and that the super soul, the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is sitting with the individual soul and is distinct from him. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 13:3, Chetragyam chapyam vidhi sarva chetreshu bharata chetra chetratyayo jnanam mama. Quote, O scion of Bharat, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Unquote. The body is taken to be the field. The individual soul is taken to be the worker in that field. Yet there is another who is known as the super soul, who along with the individual soul simply witnesses. The individual soul works and enjoys the fruits of the body, whereas the super soul simply witnesses the activities of the individual soul, but does not enjoy the fruits of those activities. The super soul is present in every field of activity, whereas the individual soul is present in his one localized body. King Malayadvaja attained this perfection of knowledge and was able to distinguish between the soul and the super soul, and the soul and the material body. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master is kindly opening my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So, King Malayadvaja, he became perfect in knowledge by discernment, by discerning the difference between the localized soul and the all-pervasive super soul. And also by discerning the difference between himself and his body. It's all about discernment. This discernment meant the Lord within was pleased by King Malayadvaja's severe austerities. So it's not just something theoretical. He was actually experiencing the difference between himself and his body. There's a word in the synonyms. Svapna means dream. I'm just dreaming. I'm this body. I'm dreaming. I'm a man, a woman, an American, an Indian, or whatever. And as Prabhupada would remind us, we think this is real only because it's longer than the night dream. I've been having the weirdest dreams lately, and it's all about, it's all happening with devotees, but it's happening with devotees in different periods in history and different weird things. Just,
Devotees and like in a different time era, like.
yeah. So we combine something that we see that are not necessarily connected. Like Prabhupada said, you see gold, you see a mountain, and then you dream of a gold mountain. And the only reason we call that a dream is because it's just shorter. And but so here we are, and this is the dream. If I'm thinking I'm this body, then I'm dreaming. I'm just sort of sleepwalking through life, dreaming I'm the body. Or there's another kind of dream. I'm dreaming I'm God. Actually, I'm God. So that's another more dangerous dream, actually. Okay, now in this purport, Prabhupada identifies two kinds of confused Mayavadis. Prabhupada's pranam mantra is Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya Deshatarne. So he immediately goes he goes for the jugular, he goes right to the Mayavad. He goes, and he says there's two kinds. There's voidistic Buddhists and impersonal Shankarites. So the goal of the Buddhist is nirvana, right? Nirvana. It's nirvana. It actually means, the Sanskrit means to extinguish. Just like if you have a candle, then you put it out. So out like a candle, and after the flame is gone, there's nothing. Yeah. My dear departed father, he wasn't a Buddhist formally, but he was a voidist. He was a voidist. For example, when I was 13 and 14, he decided that we were all going to do the church thing. We were all going to go to church. And, okay, we're going to go to church. So down the street, there was the Trinity Episcopal Church. And we went to the church. And he was all in. He became a Sunday school teacher. But he didn't even believe in God. Weird, huh? And as an example of this, like, I was, even when I was younger, maybe a little boy, 6 or 7, he would put me to bed, and he would say the Lord's Prayer with me. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. For thine is from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And then he gave his purport to the Lord's Prayer. And you know what the purport was? Son, did you ever imagine what nothing is like? Just nothing. And I couldn't imagine it. It actually scared me. What's nothing? You mean nothing, Dad? So, and then when he passed away, I think I've shared with you how he passed away. It was pretty gory. He took his own life, actually. And then after the wake, or there was a ceremony at the Joseph P. Gallagher Funeral Home. But it wasn't even a ceremony. It was just, there was no coffin. It was just like a thing that looked like some kind of shelf or something. And then there was a plaque, and it said, Kenneth Lynn Hall, born January 20th, 1916, died, I forget, November 30th, 2005. And then And then his second wife came in, the grieving second wife with her crocodile tears. That means fake tears. That's another story why they were fake. And then and then we were all pretending, to be overcome with grief. We were a very loose-knit family. We didn't have much feeling for each other. Anyway, we retired to the condo where Ken and, what's her name? Sharon. Her name was Sharon. Sharon lived. And then we just started telling Dad stories. Stuff that Sharon didn't know. And then Sharon brought out all this stuff that we didn't know, that she had stuff that he had written. All these poems and stories. He was kind of a wannabe writer. So anyway, and then she brought out the will. And I'll spare you all the gory details of the will, but at the end of the will, he said, and I want no ceremony, and I want no notice in the paper. I mean, even for us doing what we did, gathering in the funeral home, maybe that was against it too, but he somehow that happened. And I want no, even what we were doing, no post-mortem coming back and it was as though he never existed, right? But then he couldn't live this. He couldn't listen to this. And then at the last line of the will said, and if you don't follow these instructions to the letter, I will come back and haunt the hell out of you. What? But what could come back if there's nothing, right? He couldn't, because there's something. Whew. Anyway, so my Voidistic father, I know because I'm trying to be a devotee that he's benefiting, somehow or other. Yeah, I prayed to Lord Srimad after my brother Kenny gave me the news. I said, oh boy, I prayed to Lord Srimad. Now I know that somebody who takes his life, the karma is, usually you become a ghost for forfeiting that gross body, that's meant to realize God, and you just throw it in the trash can. That you've got to continue for some time in your subtle body without any gross body to try to fulfill your desires. Anyway, I'm sure that I was praying that please express him through that, whatever he's got to dues he has to pay for committing suicide. Okay, so Prabhupada, he was saying that the Buddhists and Shankarites, two kinds of Madhava, not knowing that Buddha and Shankara, they're actually incarnations. Incarnations is a very broad word. So Buddha is an incarnation of the Lord, and he had a mission. Keshavadrita Buddha Sharira, Dashavatar. Shankara is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, and he came to get people back into the Vedas, albeit impersonally. And that was a bridge too far to get him all the way back to personalism from Buddhism. Okay, so as evidence for the Vaishnava's perfect knowledge, Srila Prabhupada cites Gita 13.3. It's Chaitra Chapi Mang Vidi. That's from the 13th chapter of the Gita, which is the most analytical chapter in the Gita, very scientific, all about the soul, the super soul, a lot about the super soul there, the individual soul. Now, by my good fortune was I actually had an occasion to hear Prabhupada lecture on this verse in person. And I looked it up in the database, and sure enough, there it was Miami. It was February, I knew it was February 75. That's the only time it came to Miami, Coconut Grove. And so it was February 26th, Gita lecture. And on the February 25th, he arrival address, and then that evening, there was 2 Gita classes. That evening, the 25th, he lectured on verses 1 and 2. And then in the next evening, he lectured on text 3. Yeah, and I remember Chaitragyam Chap Imam Vidhi Prabhupada, he went into ecstasy just chanting that line because he said, just see, by this one word, cha, because Krishna is saying, I am also the knower in all bodies. So cha can mean also or and. Yeah, so I am also the knower in all bodies. So Prabhupada said, just see, by this one word, cha, Krishna has kicked out Mayavad. I am also, there's two knowers. It's not just one, it's not all one. So I'm just going to read you a little excerpt from Prabhupada's talk, and it's very, it echoes today's verse. So Krishna therefore says in the next verse means the verse he's on now, that evening, Chaitravyam chapi mangvidi sarva chaitreshu bharata. And then Prabhupada's examples are so clear and nice and vivid to drive the point home. Just like a big landlord, he has got 50 houses, right? Some big property owner. So the tenant is occupier. So we're occupying this body. We're not the owner. But the proprietor of the 50 houses is the landlord. So here it is Krishna saying, God saying that the living entity who is occupying this body is Chaitragyam, knower of the occupied space. Everyone knows that I am occupying this. I have already explained. This is my body. This is my head. This is my leg. I am here. So this knower is also Chaitragyam, one who knows. So as it said in the verse, he's a localized knower. He only knows what's going on in his body. Another person also, that is Krishna, God. Therefore, he says, Chaitragyam chapi mam vidhi. Quote, I am also one of the occupier or the proprietor of this body, unquote. Therefore, there are two persons. One person is the occupier and another person is the proprietor. Therefore, Krishna says, Mang cha vidhi. Prabhupada is just hammering it home. Quote, also understand that I am also in this body. Go down. And then a little more. I'm going to give you a little more here. There is super soul within this body. Everyone's body. So I am individual person. You are individual person. You know about your body. You do not know. I do not know. But so far we know that it is my body. I do not know what is going on within this body. We are eating foodstuff. How it is transformed into blood and then from blood to muscle and bone and so many things. Big factory is going on. The factory going on, digesting the food. We do not know, but Krishna knows, God knows, he has given this body. He knows everything. Therefore, he said, Chaitragyam chapi mam vidhi. This body is manufactured by the agent, the material nature. We do not manufacture. Oops. The father, mother, they give us this body, but they do not know, neither the father knows, neither the mother knows how this body is manufactured. That is known to God, Krishna. He has set up the machine. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's a few more lines. So therefore he says, Prabhupada keeps saying this, Chaitragyam chapi mang vidhi. You are also knower of this body. Also, I am also knower of this body, sarva chaitreshu. But you are simply knower of your body. He knows about his body, but I know about your body, his body, others' body, others' body. That is called God. Right. Okay. Now, all right. So again, what was King Malayadvaja's perfection? that he was blessed with divine discernment, soul, super soul, and the body. So, my favorite verse about divine discernment appears in CC Madhya 8-274. Yeah, so, but the full context starts with verse 67. So in 274, about divine discernment, it's a famous verse. It's Stavara Jangama, Stavara Jangama, all things moving and unmoving. I'll just read you the text. The Mahabhagavat, the advanced devotee, certainly sees everything mobile and immobile, but he does not exactly see their forms. Rather, everywhere he immediately sees manifest the form of the Supreme Lord. So that's the vision. Even though he sees the things, but we don't actually see. Just like right now, we don't exactly, we see something's registering on our eyeballs, but we're seeing with our mind, according to our mind's, the frame of the mind, that's how we're seeing things. So I forgot, I remember I never even really knew what was setting up Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to say this to Ramananda Roy. So I'm going to just read the whole, several verses of why Mahaprabhu said this. So it goes like this. It's called Talks Between the Lord and Ramananda Roy. And then Ramananda Roy is saying, he has a doubt. Ramananda Roy then told Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at first I saw you appear like a sannyasi, but now I am seeing you as Shyam Sundar, the cowherd boy. He's getting a vision. He's getting some higher discernment. He's getting some, by the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Cowherd boy. I now see you appearing like a golden doll. Okay, so he was saying he's like Krishna, and now it's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was golden colored. And your entire body appears covered by a golden luster. Just a little short purport here. Purport. Shyam Sundar is blackish, but here Ramananda Roy says that he saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appear golden. The lustrous body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was covered by the bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani. And the next verse, Ramananda Roy says, I see that you are holding a flute to your mouth, and your lotus eyes are moving very restlessly due to various ecstasies. I actually see you in this way, and this is very wonderful. My Lord, please tell me, without duplicity, what is causing this? What's going on? Prabhu kahe, Krishne tumara gada prema hoy, premara svabhave janiha nishchay. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, you have a deep love for Krishna, and one who has such deep ecstatic love for the Lord naturally sees things in such a way. So he's kind of shining them on here. Please take this from me to be certain. And this is just your ecstasy. And Ramananda Roy, he will have none of it. He knows there's more going on here. Okay. Okay, this is still Mahaprabhu. Mahabhagava deki stavara jangama. There it is, stavara jangama. Tahan hoy tanra Shri Krishna spuran. So that means, quote, a devotee advanced on the spiritual platform sees everything movable and inert as the Supreme Lord. Whoa. For him, everything he sees here and there is but a manifestation of Lord Krishna. I think I mentioned this before when Prabhupada was in New Vrindavan in 1969, when it was just a little farmhouse temple in the old Vrindavan farm. So my late god sister Shyamadasis is cleaning Prabhupada's his little canvas shoes in Prabhupada's room. And she looked up at Prabhupada and she said, and Prabhupada was just pacing back and forth, chanting japa in the room. And she said, Prabhupada, what does it mean? A pure devotee sees Krishna everywhere. What does that mean? So Prabhupada gave a very practical example. She was brushing his shoes. There was some dust around. So Prabhupada just said, what do you think when you see those shoes? Oh, I think they're Prabhupada's shoes. So, whatever a pure devotee sees, this is Krishna's. And then he gestured, Shambhadas, he said, out the window, this is Krishna's tree, this is Krishna's mountain, because there's so many mountains in West Virginia. This is Krishna's. So, very practical. So Mahaprabhu is saying, for him, everything he sees here and there is but a manifestation of Lord Krishna. And now here's the famous verse. Stavara jangama deke na deki thara murti sarvatra hoy nija ishta deva spurti. Quote, the Mahabhagavat, the advanced devotee, certainly sees everything, mobile and immobile. He sees everything. That's stavara, like a tree, immobile, or jangama, moving around like maybe a deer running or something. But he does not exactly see their forms. Rather, everywhere he immediately sees manifest the form of the Supreme Lord. Wow. Purport. Now listen to this purport. Due to his deep ecstatic love for Krishna, the Mahabhagavat sees Krishna everywhere and nothing else. There's a Gita verse like that. Anybody know?
Or he sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. For him I am never lost. He's never lost me.
Yes, very good. Gita. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 538. Premanjanachurita bhakti vilochanena santak sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. Yeah, his eyes are smeared with the salve, premanjana, with the salve of love. So whatever he sees Lord Krishna everywhere in his heart of hearts. As soon as a devotee sees something, be it movable or inert, right? He immediately remembers Krishna. An advanced devotee is advanced in knowledge. It's like Malayadvaja was advanced in knowledge by Krishna's grace. How long did Malayadvaja do his austerity? You did the verse yesterday. Remember Gauranga praying? Huh? Wasn't it? Oops, I think Gauranga praying's become inert in ecstasy. Gauranga praying. How long did King Malayadvaja do his austerities? Do you remember? I think it was 100 celestial years, wasn't it? That's right. Oh. Oops. Yeah, 100 years by the calculation of the demigods. So, but he didn't do it like Hiranyakashipu, to get some power. He just did it as an austerity to please the Lord, and the Lord blessed him with the vision that we had in today's verse. Okay. An advanced devotee is advanced in knowledge. This knowledge is very natural to a devotee, for he has already read in the Bhagavad Gita how to awaken Krishna consciousness according to Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So now Prabhupada quotes a very practical way to see Krishna in the material energy. Rasoham apsukonteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranavak sarva vedeshu shabdake paurasham vishu. Quote, O son of Kunti Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man or woman. Unquote. Thus, when a devotee drinks water or any other liquid, he immediately remembers Krishna. For a devotee, there is no difficulty in awakening Krishna consciousness 24 hours a day. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore says here, Stavara Jangama, whether it's moving or non-moving, Deke na deki thara murti, sarvatra hoy nija ishta deva spurti. He sees his Ishtadev, his worshipable Lord, everywhere. A saintly person, an advanced devotee, sees Krishna 24 hours a day and nothing else. As far as movable and inert things are concerned, a devotee sees them all as transformations of Krishna's energy. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 7:4, everybody, if you know it, Bhumirapo nalo vayu kangmano buddhireva cha ahamkara iti yang me bhinna prakriti rashtadha. Quote, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, altogether these 8 constitute my separated material energies. Unquote. Actually, nothing is separate from Krishna. When a devotee sees a tree, he knows that the tree is a combination of 2 energies, material and spiritual. The inferior energy, which is material, forms the body of the tree. However, within the tree is the living entity, the spiritual spark, which is part and parcel of Krishna. This is the superior energy of Krishna within this world. Whatever living thing we see is simply a combination of these 2 energies. When an advanced devotee thinks of these energies, he immediately understands that they are manifestations of the Supreme Lord. As soon as we see the sun rise in the morning, we arise and set about doing our morning duties. Similarly, as soon as a devotee sees the energy of the Lord, he immediately remembers Lord Shri Krishna. This is explained in the verse, Sarvatra hoya nidya ishta deva spurti. That's the second time. Prabhupada's quoted that in the purport. Okay. There's a little more, but I'll just stop there. Let's see. Anything else here? Oh yeah, I just want to see, Ramananda Roy, after he heard that. No, he continues. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, quote, a person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he always sees the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes and understands that all things are situated in him. And Mahaprabhu's describing the consciousness of Ramananda Roy with whom he's conversing. And he says one more thing. Oh, no, there's 2 more things. Quote, the plants, creepers, and trees were full of fruits and flowers due to ecstatic love of Krishna. Indeed, being so full, they were bowing down. This is the vision of the devotee. They're bowing down. They were inspired by such deep love for Krishna that they were constantly pouring showers of honey. In this way, the gopis saw all the forests of Vrindavan. So, this is Mahaprabhu quoting from the Gopi Gita. Yeah. Yes. And then he finally says, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear Roy, my dear king, you are an advanced devotee and are always filled with ecstatic love for Radha and Krishna. Therefore, whatever you see anywhere and everywhere simply awakens your Krishna consciousness. And you know what Ramananda Roy said to that? After all that amazing visionary verses, Ramananda Roy replied, my dear Lord, please give up all these serious talks. Please do not conceal your real form from me. Wait a minute. I know who you are. Ramananda Roy continued, my dear Lord, I can understand that you have assumed the ecstasy and bodily complexion of Srimati Radharani. He knew who he was. By accepting this, you are tasting your own personal transcendental humor and have therefore appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My dear Lord, you have descended in this incarnation of Lord Chaitanya for your own personal reasons. You have come to taste your own spiritual bliss, and at the same time you are transforming the whole world by spreading the ecstasy of love of Godhead. All right, he goes on, but I'm gonna stop there, I think. Wait a minute.
We go on forever with that conversation.
Okay, I'll read one more. My dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, you have appeared before me to grant me liberation. You are playing in a duplicitous way. What is the reason for this behavior? Lord Sri Krishna is and this is Kaviraj Goswami. Lord Sri Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, and Srimati Radharani is the personification of ecstatic love of Godhead. These two forms had combined as one in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This being the case, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his real form to Ramananda Roy, and that's a painting of that. You see Radha and Krishna and Ramananda Roy. Whoa. Okay, I'll stop there. Today's verse, King Malayadvaja attained perfect knowledge by being able to distinguish the super soul from the individual soul. The individual soul is localized, whereas the super soul is all pervasive. He became perfect in knowledge that the material body is not the soul, but that the soul is the witness of the material body. Ryan, any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, going. Thank you. Looking at the super soul, the individual soul, and the material body, would you say that the individual soul is synonymous to an individual's intellect to make decisions?
Synonymous to the intellect. Synonymous
to the intellect, yes.
Well, Krishna says in the Gita, there's a hierarchy of.
Right.
He says the working senses are superior to dull matter. So, like dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. He said the intellect.
Right. So.
And he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. So when we're Krishna conscious, we're taking our intelligence from Krishna and we're controlling the intelligence, which is controlling the mind, which is controlling the senses. But when we're in Maya, we just look at something with our senses and we want to enjoy it. We want to somehow enjoy with our eyes that sense object.
So the individual soul would be superior to intellect?
Yeah. Yeah. The intelligence, because the intellect is part of the bhumarapo nalovayo kangmano buddhi, intelligence. Is simply subtle material energy. Just like we're all born with different kinds of bodies and intelligence and capacity for awareness. So that's according to our karma. And I forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, did you have something more to say?
Yes, thank you. So
we're the controller of all the
of all three of them.
We can if we're Krishna conscious.
Okay, that answers all the questions. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Being of lost intelligence. So we're hearing about this, ability to control the senses is important, to understand. So we have our intelligence, which is fighting off, the attachment to sense gratification. But sometimes it feels like it's an uphill battle.
This is the question you asked at the Sunday feast.
Is it? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know if it's the same.
At least you started it that way, but go ahead.
Well, I was saying that although we have, we know that sense gratification is the challenge. Yet at the same time, we hear that we have our karma. We don't go out and seek pain. But in the same way, we don't have to go out and seek pleasure, but yet we're supposed to try to avoid sense gratification. How do we rationalize those things? That what if if pain is in our karma, if we're going to get our leg broken or something, and then at the same time, sense gratification may be in our karma. How are we supposed to, take it? Like tolerate that sense gratification, or are we supposed to just tolerate and avoid our karma? Or I'm trying to understand.
Okay, well, when we're trying to be devotees, we're actually following Guru and Krishna's instructions. We experience what you're calling sense gratification differently.
Okay.
We experience it differently. Just like we're about to have a nice breakfast. And it's going to taste real good because Krishna has tasted it. That's the secret ingredient that the non-devotees can't replicate no matter how many times they use their cookbooks. Unless they ask us. It still tastes better when you guys cook it. Right? Why? Because Krishna has tasted it. But when we experience that taste, we taste Krishna. If we're actually tasting it as it is, and whatever we hear, if we hear something, Shabdake, that was part of the verse. That was the Bhumirapolo. That's Shabdake. I am the sound in ether. I am the sound in ether. So all sound is actually coming from Krishna. But if we hear it if we're not aware of that, if we're not Krishna conscious, we just hear it as some sound, some mechanical thing. But if we're actually hearing it, we're hearing it as Krishna's energy, hearing it as his separated energy, or smell, anything in the senses. So we just perceive things differently as we become more and more Krishna conscious. We're connecting all these sense objects to Krishna. I think I gave an example of Krishna saying, I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles. Kamosmi Bharatarshava. There's a world of difference between mundane, illicit sex, promiscuous sex, non-spiritual sex, and sex as a offering to Krishna. There's a world of difference between. It's a difference in consciousness. It's amazing. Even that most intense, bodily activity as sex is perceived differently when it's being offered to Krishna, to bring a soul into the world, to raise in Krishna consciousness. That is Krishna's mercy. Okay, on that note, we're going to enjoy we're going to enjoy
real
this
quick.
question because it's Krishna
Just two
consciousness.
things. The devotees asked Prabhupada, why is the sky blue? Prabhupada said, because Krishna's blue.
That's right.
But also, it's such a dichotomy. My girlfriend and I were discussing this. It's like everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna's everywhere and everything. But we're thinking, I'm going to surrender this. I'm going to surrender that. And she just burst out laughing. It just hit a funny bone. It's like, we're going to surrender it, but it already belongs to Krishna. It's such a dichotomy, we're so much an illusion. We're thinking this is mine and I'm gonna surrender and give it to Krishna, It's already his.
It already is. That's the illusion. That's we're thinking we're so renounced. What do you own? How can you renounce it? That's a verse in the Gita too.
Yeah. Was there something like with Bali Maharaj, how he said, like, gave his head, but then it was like, your head's already mine or something like that. And you can't go.
There's nothing else. No, he just says there's nothing else, no other place for you to take your third step. So just put it on my head. Right? Is that what you?
Yeah, there was like a point that someone made, like Prabhupada made or something, that even the head is Krishna, so therefore he was still arrested.
Yeah, but he's surrendering. So he was arrested, circumstantially he was arrested, but then Krishna became his Vamana became his doorkeeper.
Yeah, that's Krishna. He arrests you and then he becomes your doorkeeper.
That's Krishna's verse. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.